marking details like pencil holders, shapes to the ends and letters into our storage stand. If your design is planned to have rounded ends or maybe even a shaped end like that, you've actually got to plan where you're going to cut rather than just cut it out. Likewise, if you're going to put something like pencil holders in here, rather than just drilling them higgledy-piggledy, a little bit like this person did, you can see that doesn't look exactly very pleasant or nice. You need to actually draw out the pattern that you want the pencils to be held into. So here is my model, and you can see that the end of it is meant to be rounded. I've done it as a model. You can see it's not as accurate as it should be. To get a rounded end, because this is a nice 50mm across, it's much easier if you use my stencil. And my stencil, you remember, you're drawing inside the shape, and you line the stencil up so that you can just see the edge here and just see the edge here and just see the edge at the other end, and then you're going to mark that with a pencil and mark that around. Once that's done, you need to show where you're going to cut it, because although some of you will be able to cut quite neatly along this curved surface, perhaps using a coping saw, many of you will struggle, and it's actually much quicker and much easier just to draw a couple of straight lines in here and in here, which is actually where you will cut, and then we will sand the rest of the surface. So all of this will end up being cut off. So in this case, I put my red cut lines in, and I'm just putting my waste lines in pencil. That would then be cut out and would be sanded. You can see here where the cut was made, a nice straight cut, reasonably close to the edge, but it leaves us with very little material that actually needs to be cut off. I've actually cut off quite a large amount of material there, which if I was to put that into the sander is far too much to actually cut off in one go. This side has already been sanded, so you can see that's now a nice smooth surface, and I could continue that all the way around on the sanding machine. When we're marking the position for any holes, be that for a socket to charge your phone or to put pencils in, we're really just marking where the point of the drill. So we've got a point of the drill here right at the end, and that's where we need to mark the cross rather than marking the circle for the hole. So this is the beginning of me marking out my pencil holes, and I've marked 15mm in and I've marked 15mm up, and I've put my first 2 points where I'm going to drill my holes there. And then because I want them to be all the same spacing, these are actually 20mm apart. So I'm going to put my next set of pencil marks 20mm along and 20mm along, and then I'm going to draw some lines to match those up. That way, my pencils, my drillings for my pencil holes will actually be right on the crosses here. So I've marked those with my red crayon just to remind me that that's where I'm going to drill my holes. And then I would go and drill them, and they would look rather neat and rather nice, much better than this higgledy-piggledy version that's here. If you're going to measure something in the middle, you're reminded that you need to measure it 25mm into the middle and just make sure it's spot on in the middle. Even if you're marking out dog tooths or funny patterns like this is still very carefully marked out. So you can see I've found the middle that's 25mm here, and then I've actually found the middle here that's 13mm and 13mm, and then I've drawn out what I want to keep, and I've marked in the waist with my red crayon. You can see where the waist is here and here, so I know exactly what I'm cutting out and what I'm keeping. Whatever you're cutting, you've got to be really accurate before you cut it out.